16-13 is the final score of Chiefs Chargers as the Chiefs get shut out in the second half, as the Chiefs in the waning moments of their season lose Patrick Mahomes to a non-contact injury. And with every scenario before the 325 schedule of the day even starts, the Kansas City Chiefs are eliminated from the playoffs for the first time in a decade. So many things to talk about today, both with this game and existentially. And I'm here with Maddie Lane here on the KCSN postgame show.
Yo,
whew, man. I think there's so many things to process right now, in so many different ways, and I think I think we're all still reeling from the realities of the season ending, but more importantly, the realities of the best player on the planet, Patrick Mahomes, succumbing to a non-contact injury. The nightmare season's nightmare is what I'm calling this thing, because what a horrendous close to a nightmare of a season.
I mean, yeah, okay. First of all, yes, it was very unfortunate way to end it. I don't know about non-contact though. There was definitely some contact, and I don't know. I just want to be clear. I think normally when you say someone goes down to non-contact, everybody immediately jumps to ACL. This didn't seem as bad as what I think we normally classify non-contact. So I just want to at least say, for the very least, hey, this wasn't like a guy's knee clearly blew out in the open field or anything, right? We don't know the extent of the injury at this point in time, right? So it was definitely contact involved with this. And so it could be an array of things. I'm not even going to pretend to know. All I'm going to say is I've never seen Patrick Mahomes voluntarily go to the locker room before a game was over. So that's how I think I know it's more than just, a mild knee sprain. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Maybe I'm wrong on that. And there was, he just wasn't sure. But I definitely don't think that this is a non-contact open field, clearly the entire knee just kind of gave out situations. I want to put that out there for people that maybe didn't see the game and that's the way that they are going to hear this news or something like that. It wasn't clear as day. We don't really know what the issue was, but he clearly left the game. Patrick Mahomes voluntarily left the field with the trainers, went to the locker room before the game was over with the trainers. So it does seem like there's a pretty significant injury of sorts that came at the end of this game, which is, a wildly unfortunate exclamation point on a season that has essentially been a season from hell for the Kansas City Chiefs. And it only kept coming from that point on. And yeah, that was just the worst way, but also the most poetic way, not good or perfect, but the most poetic way to, I think, cap it.
Yeah. The Chiefs, basically every scenario that needed to happen for the Chiefs to be eliminated in the eventuality of a loss had happened. So all the teams that needed to win, the Bills come back from down 21. Also, maybe a little bit poetic that the Bills come back from down 21-0 to beat the Patriots, while the Jaguars blow out the Jets and the Texans blow out the Cardinals. It basically put the Chiefs in a scenario before the game was over that if they lose that game, their season is quite literally over. And on the final possession of that game, disaster strikes. And yes, we will find out how disastrous that injury to Patrick Mahomes really was. Because, it just so many things, big picture, small picture about this game. Let's get into that. Let's get into the game though. Let's just talk a little bit about this game. The Chiefs get out to a 13-3 lead. They blow a 10-point lead. They get shut out in the second half. And it really starts, the Chiefs kick a field goal. There's some we'll get to how did they build that lead? How did they get that 13-3 lead, Maddie? How did they do that to start this game? You're muted. Super muted.
Perfect.
Awesome.
How did they get that lead? There was a penalty on top of a catch that helped them move down the field that they probably wouldn't have gotten moved down the field without. And then after that, their offense kind of sucked. That's how they got the lead, Kent. They had one penalty that helped them extend a drive, and yes, they capitalized on it. But after that, they couldn't drive the ball worth a damn unless they were getting some penalty help on the way. So once again, the offense, I know you were kind of teeing this up to hey, here's some positives. I don't know if there's a lot of positives to come from this game. I actually think this game was pretty poor all around. This might have been one of the worst performances of the Chiefs. That includes the defense, and I think some people are going to be surprised, but I think the defense only even held serve because they were just going cover zero versus a broken offensive line that had no answers for it. So, like, yeah, credit for doing that. So there was a stretch where you were just blitzing them over and over again. The Chargers had no answer, but like as the Chargers kind of worked into it, they came up with answers. This was one of the worst Chiefs performances I think you're ever going to get, and that's incredibly frustrating with the entire season on the line.
What about this game for you made it the worst performance? Like, what makes it the worst performance? I will say this: the Chargers stink.
I got mine.
Real quick, the Chargers stink. They are a bad they're not good. That is not a good football team that the Chiefs just lost to. It's pretty embarrassing, really. They're a dirty, ringless organization and a bad football team. And the Chiefs just gave up. They looked cooked. Even before the Mahomes injury, they looked cooked.
Because they were.
Because they were. The Chiefs were up. The Chiefs got up 13-3. Great drive to open this game. Turn around and hand the football a little bit in that opening possession. Some good things happened. But really, after the horrendous Dave Tobe kickoff return that was saved by Harrison Butker with 30 seconds left in the first half to give the Chargers hopes of scoring, and then one of a litany of horrendous officiating errors in this game that gave Trey Harris a catch for knocking the wind out of himself between the ball and the ground. The Chargers score a touchdown to cut the lead to 13-10, and then it was just, a couple field goals here, a couple drives together for the Chargers to get some field goals here, and then the Chiefs' complete ineptitude on offense. The Chargers owned the second half of this game without doing much of anything because the Chiefs' offense was completely lifeless. So many. And look, like the second play of the game, Jalen Moore goes out, and then he goes out again.
And he was terrible in between that stretch, by the way. He was terrible between, however hard he was.
Somehow Mike Caliendo was worse.
Close.
Offensive line was, just Esopole was better than those two. He's like third best offensive lineman on the team for this game.
He had some rough moments. Yeah.
I know. I'm not saying he was good because the whole thing reeked. The whole thing reeked, and there's no answers. Continual mistakes, bad drops, bad interception in the red zone. Everything. This game had everything that's been wrong with the Kansas City Chiefs, except for a Harrison Butker missed field goal. But if the Chiefs had got a chance to kick one, I don't know if he would have made it anyway.
Okay. What you would ask me what I thought made this the worst performance in a long time of the Chiefs, right? That's what. They were soft. They were softer than the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers were the more physically imposing team, the stronger team, the team that clearly wanted it more. And that's a problem when you're fighting for your playoff life, but you are the quote unquote cold weather. And I don't think that everybody always thinks about the Chiefs as a cold weather team, but it's clearly benefited them numerous times going into the playoffs over the past half decade. They have sneakily built a team that can be more physical than the vast majority of their opponents. They really have. That's a big part of what they do. And here we are, and the Los Angeles Chargers come in here with white and powder blue uniforms, and we're the physically more dominant team. They pushed them around. They hit harder. They flew to the ball faster. They were a more physically dominant team. That's why you can't come out as soft as the Chiefs did. And I get it. They have a bunch of backups in there. The offensive line is being strung together. You immediately start facing some injuries immediately at right tackle spot. You immediately have Worthy falling down and getting hurt. Guys are falling down left and right, but they're still soft. They were playing incredibly soft in this football game. And that's reason number one that I think that this is one of the worst and most embarrassing performances they had. But more than that, you can fast forward this into when it's still a game. Jefferson gets ejected for, listen, that was a terrible ejection. That was clearly a penalty for a hit. I don't know why he was ejected on that particular play, but you get an ejection after a pretty dirty hit on Tyquan Thornton that knocks him out of the game. There's a big scrum. Everyone's fired up. You know what happens coming out of that scrum? The Chiefs try a misdirection play action pass that they burn on first down because they leave a defense unblocked. Terrible idea. The very next play, they try a slow developing run play to the right behind their two worst offensive linemen. Guess which two offensive linemen were 5 yards in the backfield? those two guys. So now you're already facing 3rd and like 13 or 12 or 13 right after this big fired up, let's turn everything around. Let's rally around this team being dirty that's trying to push us around. That's trying to be a bully. Let's rally around that. And Joe fight back. What do? They immediately have Kingsley get completely smoked. And then Mahomes throws a bad interception on a wheel route, but like he immediately was under pressure. The offensive line that was just fired up, ready to fight a safety, gets completely torched 3 plays in a row at the line of scrimmage. That's unacceptable. I don't understand. You can't look at this team and watch them play like that for those stretches. They can't get pushed around by the Los Angeles Chargers and then have a guy get knocked out of the game, almost fight in the middle of the field, and then come back and still be the physically weaker, meeker, and softer team. That kind of stuff is why I think this was one of the worst performances they've ever put out there.
There just wasn't a ton of fight in this team.
No, really 0. Wasn't. Full quit watch. They just quit mad. Warning. Yeah, we've upgraded.
It was. I mean, they were mad. They were mad about Tyquan Thornton getting, the 5th dirty hit from the Los Angeles Chargers in that game. But they didn't respond in between the lines. They didn't respond in between the whistles. Like they didn't have any fight. And like it might just be like, look, I don't want to diminish it and just, I don't want to chalk it up as simple as 40% of their starting offensive line being even available to play. But I mean, they got some guys that just couldn't handle it. Chu Godric the Chu Godric story is amazing. Chu Godric played football for this team today. Like an international pathway program player that has done it. He's been an incredible story, and it's really cool. And I'm glad he's sticking around. And we always like to watch him in the preseason. He actually had to play because Estepole also is playing. 2 undrafted free agent tackles protecting Patrick Mahomes with Mike Caliendo doing his best traffic cone impression. Like I do go between like this soft team. This was soft. The receivers are soft. The receivers are so soft. There's the regression of the receiver room that we got so frustrated with under Connor Embry with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore is back because they're all worse. They're all Rashee Rice needs to get on a jugs machine tomorrow. And I don't know what's up with Xavier Worthy, man. I mean, I don't even how long you got? We might have to do a whole I don't want to chalk it up to just injury. But man, so many things with this team, dude. So many things with this team.
Yeah, I mean, like we're gonna have a long show if we point to all the stuff that I think is wrong with them. I think that was the thing that stood out to me the most. I'm like, why I said it was one of the worst performances I've seen. Like the game was kind of close, and like to your point, the Chargers aren't a great team. And they also have a bunch of backup offensive linemen in there. And so the Chiefs took advantage of that for a while, right? Like the Chiefs were taking advantage of the fact that the Chargers had no offensive linemen in there. And they were sending all this pressure. And the Chargers took a while to find their footing. And it's not like they were even good in the second half. They were just okay. They were a little bit better than Chiefs. They kind of did what they needed to do when they needed to do it. And they found some answers to counteract the blitz. But it's not like the Chargers were playing a great football game either. They were just flying around. They were playing harder. They cared more. They were hitting more. I mean, I don't try to look too much at this stuff, but just listen to how Andy Reid talked at halftime. Like, oh yeah, we need to run or do better on catches and runs or something, right? But we'll do that in the second half. But compare that to just like Harbaugh's confidence coming out of the locker room at how much better they were going to be in the second half and how they were like, just on the up. Like, there's just a different level of the Chargers felt like they had a read on the game, a pulse on the game and what to do. And part of that is how Andy speaks. I fully understand that, but also every single halftime interview is the same from Andy. And it's just like, we need to do better, but then nothing gets done better out of it. And this is now numerous times where you have had a coach in the AFC West come out of halftime of a very close game and be like, oh no, we got them kind of where we want them. Sean Payton did it. And now Harbaugh does it. And it's just like very clearly teams are not afraid in any way, shape, or form of what the Chiefs are doing. And when you're going to play soft and you're going to play slow and you're going to have no answers for anything especially on offense, but on both sides of the ball, really, there's not a lot you can do about it. So it was just all in all, I thought it was a terrible game from the Chiefs across the board. I don't think they showed a ton of fight. for most of this game. They were not willing to scrap back from bad situations. They weren't clawing for every single little thing they could. Yeah, there's little spurts here and there, but they just never built on anything. And after that interception, I think you could just kind of see it. The team was just like, yeah, okay, whatever, we're done. Like we don't care anymore. We don't care to get out of this. We're just here going through the paces.
I can't wait to find out if Tucker Franklin cares or what he cares about. We're going to ask him some of these questions right after this.
Heather Luce, broker owner, KC Local Homes, and Emprise Bank has been a great partner for us. They're our partner in Possible. Debbie and I hit it off immediately, and she was one of the first bankers that I would say sat down with me and actually like genuinely cared about my story and where I was coming from and what I was trying to do, not just what kind of loan do you need, how much equity do you have, and she really kind of laid out my options for me and just made the process make sense, and I felt comfortable with it. Start to talk about it and think about it, a building popped up that I wanted, that I could afford, and it was in a great area. And so they really guided me through the SBA. I used the SBA loan to acquire it and really guided me through that process and made it happen. I think that we talk about that a lot, where we wouldn't have a business. We wouldn't have what we have here if we didn't have the clientele that we do. I've always functioned out of a people over profits mentality. The houses sell themselves, right? Like I'm here to help people and facilitate the transaction for them.
Missouri, your moment is finally here because DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app, is now live in your state. Now you can make every game even more exciting with same-game parlays, money lines, props, and more, all from your phone, all safe, secure, and easy to use. Missouri fans know game day. The tailgates, the noise, the passion. Now with DraftKings Sportsbook, you can bring that same energy to every snap, every touchdown, every win. And right now, new Missouri customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. No waiting, no nonsense, just pure action powered by America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code KCSN. New Missouri customers bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets instantly. That's code KCSN. The crown is yours. In partnership with DraftKings Sportsbook. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus, physically present in Missouri. Eligibility and restrictions apply. Terms at DraftKings.com/sportsbook. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos.
Chiefs fall 16-13 to the Los Angeles Chargers. Andy Reid says Patrick Mahomes hurt his left knee. The MRI will be tonight or tomorrow. So that's the most recent update. We'll keep an eye on it as we see more. I see some people up in arms for me calling it non-contact. I think the knee was free and clear, but I get what people are saying.
There's a clip going on about it being like a gator roll.
I don't think it was a gator roll, and I don't think the gator roll is what it might have been. I wondered if it was a little bit dirty because, I mean, the Chargers are dirty and Jim Harbaugh, his legacy continues. But the left knee doesn't really get affected by much of anything here. I'm watching the play again. It just looks like, I mean, yeah, I just think he lands on it weird, and we'll find out.
I mean, it's a knee that was structurally unstable already because it's been on the injury report for multiple times. He gets hit as he's rolling. I don't think it's a dirty hit. I know some people are going on about that. Don't know, don't care. He gets hit and lands in an odd way on a structurally unstable knee. Yeah, it probably got hurt doing that, but I don't think it was. Yeah, that's all.
An update from Patrick or from Andy Reid here too. I'm
That'd be better.
Well, it just said it didn't look good. I mean, you guys saw it. And here's the thing, like, we don't know what it's going to be. Andy Reid, anytime he says it doesn't look good, I always worry that he has a little bit more insight, right? So him just saying it didn't look good just gives me even a little bit more anxiety about it, if I'm being honest. Because normally Andy knows more. Andy's going to know more, right? Yeah. So sure. That's also gonna give me some stress there. Hopefully it's not, the absolute worst case. But man, that is just awful. We have Tucker Franklin here. Tuck.
Yeah.
Hi, Tuck.
Hey guys, what's going on?
How you feel?
That's a really good question. I don't know how to feel. I was pretty bummed out already going into this game because I think I tweeted out a few times. I don't know if there's been a 3-point game ever feel more like a multi-score game than this one that had just happened. They got the ball back and I was like, well, I mean, I don't feel like anything's happened. Then I realized, oh, they just need to get into field goal range. I was like, they just gotta get into field goal range and they got this game tied up and they can go into overtime and maybe make something happen. But they couldn't. I mean, the offense again. It's just another game where we saw the same stuff over and over, right? It's the same stuff where it's the offense blows, the defense also really sucks in times. Situationally is horrible, and it like you've got guys. You know, I found this to be interesting, Maddie. I was talking to my fiance Tara about this.
Shout out Tara.
Yeah, shout out Tara. You know when you're losing. And not necessarily when they were like losing actually in the game, but like when you've been losing, those hits hurt a little bit more. When it's cold, it's a little bit colder when you're losing, you know? It's a little bit colder when you stay down a little bit longer when you take those hits when you've been losing. And I think that was pretty evident and pretty clear. I know, like, look, they had a lot of guys going to the concussion protocol today. It was concussion central at Arrowhead. I don't know. There was a lot of hits that happened that obviously led to those concussions, but boy, howdy, lots of concussions. But they had guys dropping like flies. The offense couldn't figure anything out. The offensive line was held together by twine and duct tape, and that's generous, calling it twine and duct tape. They couldn't move the football. I tweeted this out just a little bit ago. Sorry, the Bills just tweeted out about how Josh Allen's the MVP, but I think they meant James Cook because James Cook was the reason they came back in that game. But I tweeted out a little bit ago, since when the Chiefs opened the scoring, opened the game with that touchdown, they went punt, field goal, punt, interception. And if that is not a microcosm of how this season has gone, I don't know what is, because it's just been disappointment after disappointment. The Patrick Mahomes injury also threw a little bit of like how I'm feeling, a little bit of a wrinkle too, right? Because like I don't feel great. And intrusive thoughts wise, is he going to be okay for 2026? It's kind of late in the season, especially if it is one of those ACL injuries, to kind of come back and play in 2026. Might miss a little bit of that. Are they going to have to re-sign Gardner Minshew to have him come on and start the season? Like that's kind of where my brain went to go for a little bit. Jameis Winston's going to be a free agent. That's who I hope they sign. Jameis Winston for like 4 games. Can we swing a good Jameis Winston 4 games? That would be sick. That would be at least fun and entertaining, because that's the other part of this, guys. The Chiefs have stopped playing fun and entertaining football. They stopped playing fun and entertaining football a long time ago. There's about midway through that third quarter, and I was like, this game is dragging. Like this game is, it's not fun to watch the Chiefs anymore. And obviously without Patrick Mahomes, you could probably chalk it up that he's not playing the rest of the season regardless, right? They're out of the playoffs, right? Even if he is healthy, why even throw him out there at this point? Especially behind a battered offensive line like that. I think that probably it's smart not to see Patrick Mahomes the rest of the year. So we're going to see Gardner Minshew probably against the Titans and the Raiders and the Broncos on Christmas. Oh, that'll be fun. Shout out to Amazon for getting that game. Good for Amazon. They get the Gardner Minshew special.
The Hunts are probably pissed.
Wait, is it Amazon? Or is it Netflix?
Netflix has the other games.
I think the Chiefs is Amazon. Let me look up Chiefs.
Okay.
Christmas.
No, I believe you. I didn't know.
It looks like
it's on Prime. It is on Prime.
So shout out to Mr. Bezos and the Hunts. They're gonna be getting that good game. But overall, I'm just like, I'm not shocked, but disappointed. I'm not mad, but disappointed at this point. Because is it poetic that the Bengals and the Chiefs were eliminated about like 30 minutes apart? Is that poetic?
No, because I don't think about the fraud goals at all. They
Group chat says differently. That's all right.
That doesn't. I have not sent you guys a DM about the fraud goals in a long time.
Well, yeah, you haven't.
I was just saying, I haven't. I don't think about that team whatsoever. Man, yeah, what a time. So if you're the Chiefs, like, what do you do for the rest of the year, right? Like, what? What's the game plan? It's not like the Chiefs are loaded with a bunch of young guys that need reps. Like, yes, there are guys, but it's not like the Chiefs are full of young guys that need reps. It's not like you have a full stocked offensive line to really see what anyone's going to look like. I mean, now coming off this concussion protocol, the Chiefs have Xavier Worthy's clearly banged up more so than just whatever happened in this game. Like he's, like he's clearly a little banged up. Rashee Rice is getting the hell beat out of him. Tyquan Thornton's in concussion protocol. Hollywood Brown's not playing in the game, right? Like it's not like what are you looking for the rest of the year if you're the Chiefs now, right? Like this is one of the weirdest teams. It's like you're not competing for the first overall pick, really. You're too far away from that. You're not in a full-on rebuild, but you don't even have necessarily a bunch of young guys that are trying to show out to be a big part of the team going forward. Like, what is the plan for the rest of the season?
We don't know. Like, no one knows. We're not used to this. The Chiefs have not at any point in the history of all of this had to even entertain the idea of not being in the playoffs, of not having something in front of them. I think whatever has ailed Chris Jones should keep him out. I think I don't know what if there's any questionable injuries the rest of the season to some of these key players, they should let them sit, and the Chiefs should, tank. This point, yeah. Look, this hopefully will be the last time the Chiefs are in this situation again. And if that's the case, they should take advantage of this opportunity to secure as much draft capital as they can so that they can take a swing on a player or accumulate, some players because they badly need help.
You trade McDuffie now, I guess, is what the question is. Because that's the only way you're acquiring. They don't got anybody else that can acquire capital with.
Well, every pick you are higher in the draft order, you're acquiring capital. I'm saying.
Sure.
So right now, if the season ended today, the Chiefs would be picking 12th. And without Mahomes, are we sure that they're winning a game the rest of the year? And I know it's the Titans and the Raiders. Could be a mid-off.
Man, the Raiders are a really bad football team, Kent. Like, they are so bad.
Counterpoint. The Chiefs can't block.
Kenny Pickett played today, and they didn't score a point.
The Raiders' defensive line's better than the Chiefs.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm just saying, man. And wouldn't it be great for Pete Carroll's culture to beat Gardner Minshew's Chiefs in Week 18?
Gardner Minshew's still getting paid by that team. That's crazy. He's going to play against a team that's actively paying him too.
That's kind of awesome.
That is kind of cool, actually. I take it back. I am glad that Gardner Minshew gets to play Week 18 now.
No, I don't know, man. The season is quite literally over, and I think the Chiefs should.
It is.
I think the Chiefs, the team that has put themselves through more than any team in the history of the National Football League, or almost, because I guess the Bills went and lost 4 straight Super Bowls, so they've been to 4 straight. True. But they didn't have 17 games. That's also a good point, Kent. I think the team that has put themselves through the most in a 3-game or 3-season stretch should maybe help some of the guys that put the wear and tear of their body over the last 3 seasons, give them a little bit more time to recover, because its season is literally it's over. It's over. And I'm still processing that. I'm still processing. Man, there's so many things to process right now, right? Are you numb to this? Like, because it's felt inevitable. Are you a little bit numb to it, or
Maddie?
I mean, no, it still sucked, right? Like, I thought last week they gave a valiant effort, and that just the same flaws that we saw all year kept showing up over and over again with the offensive scheme issues. The defense only has one avenue to win, which is just blitzing everybody all the time. And when that gets solved, they have no other options. The offense clearly gets stuck in mud. The receivers, the skill players let them down. The offensive line was injured, but they tried, right? So last week's really sucked. This game just made me mad. Because the Chargers didn't play a great game. They played better than the Chiefs. Yeah. They didn't play a great game, but it was just clear and evident that this Chiefs team didn't have it, both physically and mentally in this game. And so this one was just more frustrating. Last week's was disappointing. And so, no, I don't think numb is the right word, but we've had a long enough stretch where we have kind of figured out that this was coming. Like it was pretty obvious that this team, I think I had tweeted it out during the Colts game, even if they came back and won that game, I was like, I don't think they have the juice to do anything that matters. And that became more and more evident week after week, right? So no, not numb, but I definitely think we all saw this coming. It just sucks to see them go out this sad. It sucks to see a team that's been this good for so long go out with essentially no fight. I mean, they just didn't really have any fight for this game. And like that really sucks. And more so than even the players, I think the coaching staff had no fight. They were doing nothing to help them along this entire game. And that is equally as disappointing as getting pushed around by Chargers players in white and powder blue uniforms.
How would you have felt if the Chiefs somehow won this football game? Like if they string together a drive, how would you have felt? Like Maddie, what would your emotions have been about them winning this football game? Would it just felt like, hey, they're still on life support, especially knowing all the scenarios played out? Like, would you even how excited would you have been for a win?
Okay. I thought they were going to win when Patrick Mahomes had the ball with 5 minutes left and they started driving down the field. I said it in the group chat, like, hey, let me see the first 2 plays just to see if they get the drive started. And my whole point was if they get a drive starter, I think they're going to go down and at minimum tie it, if not go win the game. And then Mahomes got hurt. And that obviously ended that. Like I thought they were going to come back and win this game there because again, the Chargers weren't playing great. They were just playing a little better than the Chiefs, but it wouldn't have done anything. It wouldn't have changed my idea because nothing about this game showed me anything that says they're better than what they are, right? They didn't build on anything offensively. They didn't even get back to the moving pocket stuff to protect the offensive tackles that they showed last week. They barely threw those deep play action passes, and they were actually really gross when they did it. Like they tried, like they built nothing on what was last week. The run game continues to get worse and worse despite them trying to run from under center, the thing that we all clamored for a long time. Mm-hmm. They were trying it to start the game and nothing happened. So like, no, I would not have felt like there was more hope had they been able to come back and win this game, but I did think they were going to do it. And it's just gonna be one of those, okay, just, if they won the game, the only thought would be don't let them sneak into the playoffs and let them play spoiler to a better team if you're another team's fan base, right? Like that's all you were protecting. So I don't think this team had any chance to win 4 playoff games in a row.
No, I agree. I think if they won today, it would have felt like for me delaying the inevitable. And obviously it would have made next week a little bit more interesting against the Titans. They're still probably going to beat the Titans because the Titans are an abysmal football team too. The Titans and the Raiders might not win a UFL game. They are a poorly constructed team. Those are 2 poorly constructed teams in franchises that are in complete disarray. So they still might just win those games out of pure organization, just by how much organization they have on their team. Like continuity is what I'm looking for. Herbie Teope did just text me, by the way, because Herbie Teope's out there, boots on the ground. He said he's got 2 clips for us that I'll get up here for a little bit. He said that the locker room was, quote, barren locker room. Kelsey shot them down as well. So 2 clips coming soon from a barren and pretty desolate Chiefs locker room after this one.
I get it.
Absolutely. I 100% get that.
I mean, for so many reasons. We haven't talked about this yet, but like we might have seen the last pass from Mahomes to Kelsey. We might have literally seen the last Mahomes to Kelsey in this game. Not to get too, but I mean, look, that could be the case. That very, very well could be the case that we just saw the last of that. We are seeing some super chats coming in.
Make sure you read them first.
Yep.
Fired up chat today. I will say, chat fired up today, as they should be.
Steven Steiner, Andy Reid, and Brett Veach must be fired. They got a generational QB hurt for this year and next. Worst year in franchise history because you wasted 2 of Mahomes' years. That would be the worst case scenario. We'll see if that happens. Joseph Jackson, can we start getting rid of coaching staff now? Complete failure on so many levels. They need to shake some things up. I don't know if Andy has it in him. Dave Tobe? Dave Tobe?
Not even starting with Dave, but Dave can go too.
Who would you be your first then, Matthew?
Every single player that coaches the offense. Or coach, not player, but every single coach. Every single coach on the offensive side of the ball, gone. Every single one of them. Get them all out. Don't need to say, name a single position group. You know what? Andy Heck can stay. Everybody else has got to go. And I know not everyone's going to love that, but like,
I think Heck's fine.
Heck can stay. Everybody else can go. And if you can pitch me a single case for any one of those people staying around, please, let's hear it.
Nope. Ross Sawyer, the Chiefs are a victim of their own success in so many ways. Hopefully they learn the lessons and play Taekwondo. Dana Stennis. Honestly, this team wasn't winning the Super Bowl, but now the tanking can happen and some coaching changes. Primetime Rambo, all around just bad coaching and front office management this year. Need to be positioned coaching overhaul across the board. And Claude asking if this draft class is bad.
It's not good.
I don't know if it's good. There's other years I think I would rather have the top 15 pick. Take your vitamins asking what does Connor Embry exactly do here? Great question.
Vibes.
Is he?
I thought he was
I don't know. I have no other answers.
I don't know. Andy Reid's notoriously been very close knit with his entire thing, like with his entire coaching staff. Connor Embry has ties. His dad has ties to Andy.
Sure, buddy. Go chart some stuff and put things into a computer so we know what to do in certain situations and get away from the players on the field.
This quote coming in from Gardner Minshew. On Patrick Mahomes, I don't think I've ever respected anyone I've played with more. You're getting Gardner Minshew at the podium. So
Gardner Minshew podium game. Well, he has to because Mahomes is getting treatment, so he can't talk. He can't talk to media.
He has to.
Yeah.
Oh,
I've almost got.
Okay, I got a question for you. I got a question for you guys. Does Andy Reid show any kind of fire the rest of the season for anything? At any point in time, do you come away from a press conference, a football game, or anything and say, oh, wow, Andy was fired up about things needing to change, about them not being good enough, about them. Is there any time you walk away from an Andy Reid public interaction, not behind closed doors, because it sounds like he's a very different guy behind closed doors, but any kind of public interaction, think, ooh, that guy's got a fire up his ass right now and he's ready to make things change?
No.
Or is he just we're real close, we can turn this thing around?
You will never know. You will never know with Andy. I've never seen him fired up in any real capacity. I don't think he'll come close to saying anything about anyone. Even people he's ready to fire, I don't think he says anything about them. I don't even think he leaves it vague. He just shucks his way through it, and then you might hear some news. But I don't think he will ever publicly put anyone on blast, ever. So no, I don't think it's going to come off as some kind of fired up.
Yeah.
And what are we going to, you're going to get fired up for beating the Tennessee Titans?
Right.
What are we doing?
I was thinking the opposite direction, but yeah.
Fired up for no. If you lose,
okay, but head coaches have been mad. Todd Bowles just got fired up because they didn't play good enough, right? Like that just happened. Like at no point in time this year, that's what I was asking. I'm like, no, I agree with you guys. I don't think it's going to happen. I'm not asking him to go up there and say a bunch of F-bombs, but he can get up there and say, hey, we need to be better. We weren't our best, but do so with a way that is energetic and has some kind of energy behind it that says that we care. And I'm not saying they don't care. I'll be very clear. I'm not trying to mince the words. They clearly care, but it doesn't come across when Andy speaks publicly. It always comes across as, like you said, aw, shucks. And then we're going to do it all behind closed doors. I was just asking if you think at any point in time the rest of this year, because this is the worst it's been in Kansas City, is he ever going to come across like there's a little bit of energy to what he's saying?
No, and I don't think Gardner Minshew being blocked by you, me, and Tucker is a time where he's probably going to show much energy or be not defeatist about it. I don't think he can get I'm fired up because we couldn't block. Well, yeah, I haven't blocked in my life.
They have Essa Pohl and Chu Godric being their 2 tackles, and it's not August.
And they're not the worst offensive linemen on the team. Playing.
Yeah, Mike Caliendo's pretty bad.
Mike Caliendo, look, I try not to get beat up about backup offensive linemen very often, okay? And it's I've seen some stuff and everyone's slandering Caliendo. He's bad. He's unrosterable. And like, there's really not a ton of offensive linemen in the National Football League, period. But he's terrible. He's not even like a serviceable backup at this point. And it's just, I get why they would want someone that understands, is smart enough to handle it, but that's about all he is right now, because physically he is dominated every which way, every play. So, yeah.
I do have those clips loaded up if you want to get to those real quick before we get out of here.
Sure.
If you'd like to hear from a couple of defensive players, Jalen Watson and Brian Cook, in a very desolate and very sad Kansas City Chiefs locker room, courtesy of Herbie Teope. Shout out Herbie, boots on the ground covering this game. Here's what those guys had to say.
It's just a play or two or three, and situational, just not finishing. It's frustrating.
Kind of that mark, you know what I'm saying? Just after the season, how this look like it be. I've seen guys come and go, you know what I'm saying, and the guys that are still close to this day. But just being able to, back into that moment and, fight for your brothers one last couple times, a few times.
Brian, I don't know if anybody's asked you this yet, but just what hurts the most about not getting the opportunity to play in the postseason?
I mean, you kind of just picking rice at that point. You can talk about that forever. But it hurts. It's hard to pinpoint just how, which one or why it hurts so much. But it definitely hurts. But you asked me right after the game, so I can't really give you an answer right now.
Sounds from a dejected locker room. Jalen Watson went down with an injury as well. One of several different players to go down with an injury in this one. Chris Jones says it's tough. Any game you lose is tough. We're all competitors here, especially with so much at stake. It was tough. Yep.
Line up on the right side of the ball.
Yeah,
I'm just lashing out.
Really
Sorry, I'm just lashing out. But
I'm surprised. I'm surprised he's not got called for that more often. Like, he lines up offsides as much as Juwan Taylor does, but Chris Collinsworth didn't make some kind of national scene about it. And so I honestly, like, if you're never going to get called for it, keep doing it. Like, I'm not hating, keep doing it. But he just doesn't have the magnifying glasses and I think Harbaugh and the Chargers were very intent on calling that out multiple times.
The timeout one, Harbaugh was sitting right behind the ref saying, he just kept saying he's offsides.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you could read his lips. He's clearly behind the ref telling him about, like, what he was looking for.
And when he does it, he's never close. It's never like he's kind offside.
No. It's very blatant.
Offsides.
Saw it from the TV sitting on my couch.
Right. It's like, for as much ire as D Ford drew from that for doing it the one time, granted in a much bigger spot, but doing it the one time, it's just like Chris Jones just does it nonstop. And he was on that team. And he saw what that did to D Ford and how that handled the team. And he's like, nah, I just don't care. Just not even gonna check. It's funny.
I mean, he rarely gets called for it. I mean, if you can get away with it, get away with it. That's my thing. Another quote from Chris Jones. Sometimes it doesn't go your way. You planned for it to go, and it's a learning curve. And then Jones added, just because you made it to the Super Bowl doesn't mean you'll have success the following season. Chiefs are learning that the hard way. That's from Mackenzie Nelson there at the locker room. Any other thoughts before we get out of here? Any more super chats that we need to get to? I think we have a few actually. Derek Turner says, Matt, I agree, and I don't even know what it's about, but yeah, I agree too. Someone Bumpa says, fire Andy. I don't care about the past. He's not the future. Whew.
I tell you what, now here's my take on the Andy firing thing. I'm not going to call for Andy to be fired. But if he doesn't change the offensive coaching staff significantly or what he does, he will be fired after next year because they will not be good again on the offensive side. If nothing changes offensively, they will not be good enough next year and they will lose again. So he will be fired by the end of next year if he does not change something. There's zero chance he's fired right now before the 2026 season. But if nothing changes, he is 100% gone after that because nothing will change. Like, they won't be better.
Primetime Rambo, sell your soul for Ruben Bain Jr., but knowing Spags, you'll make him gain 80 pounds and just hold the edge.
Hey,
80 pounds on Ruben Bain would be crazy.
That would be a wild build. 6'2", 320-pound defensive end
Uh,
with short arms.
Michael R. Blair. At least we might be able to finally see what Mike Edwards can do. Yeah, there's some young guys that you really want to get in there, right?
Mike Edwards. Hey, can we call him Carson Steele maybe a little bit? Let's see some Carson Steele action.
Mike Pennell.
They got 8 running backs on their roster.
Derek Noddy. Maybe they'll finally play Elijah Mitchell. Maybe Damian Pierce will get a look. Maybe Damian Pierce can play quarterback.
Just Wildcat, just the Ronnie Brown Miami Dolphins offense.
That was fun for 2 weeks.
We brought up Mike Edwards, and I don't want to talk about this later in the week because I have a feeling that like the lab stuff will go a different direction. Jaden Hicks really pissed me off in this game when there was that dropped pass that was close to a fumble, and he just started walking away from it like there was zero chance it could be a live ball despite there being a whistle. Then he watched the Chiefs player pick it up and start to return it, and he continued to walk away while everyone else started blocking. Like it was an incomplete pass. It ultimately didn't matter. But in that moment of the game, how are you not at least attempting to go block somebody? Like how? It's a tiny, minute thing that had no impact on the game, but really that drove me up the wall when I saw him just casually walking away from what was pretty close. Like it was a bang, could be a fumble, could not be with no whistle. And he was just like, nah, I'm good. Deuces.
Before we get out of here, what last-minute January vacation are you booking, Tucker?
Well, look, I already had a vacation on the books to go to Destin in week 18, so that's turned out to be pretty solid for me. That's what my parents and I we're going to Destin. So I mean, hell, I'll be enjoying that one. I did see this comment here, and I brought this up to you guys. I don't think Maddie was on yet. Good news, 3rd place schedule though next year, guys.
I think it's like 2 games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the 3rd place schedule is 2 games. Could the Raiders still catch the Chiefs?
Hell no. The Raiders.
No, the Chiefs.
My gosh.
The Chiefs, that's the thing. The Chiefs can't like tank to get to a top 5 pick. That's why I said they're in a weird spot. They're like too far away to get into the top 5. They are going to be in this weird nebulous territory between like 8 and 12, regardless of what happens, which is not a great spot. So we don't need to do that now. But yeah, that's.
Chris Jones found out at the podium.
Yeah.
That they were eliminated from the playoffs. That's from Rob Collins.
Super cool.
I mean, did they not know going into it they kind of needed to win the game?
Well, they knew that they could have still lost and still been yeah.
Yeah, okay.
We've been talking about this for 3 weeks, right? Like they technically had a chance. Like they could have lost and still technically had a chance to make the playoffs.
It just goes from 6% to 1%, but now they're officially eliminated. Good job.
Yeah, they needed the Jets and the Cardinals to win football games.
Yeah, they needed one of them to win, right?
Well, in the Seahawks, I guess. They would have needed, But, yeah. They needed one of the Jets or the Cardinals to win, which is a horrible place to be.
Well, a lot of things are going to get tested within that building, you hope. And all of us as content creators in Kansas City are going to get tested as well because we don't know what we're doing without playoffs.
This is where the cream rises to the top, boys. This is where we got to separate ourselves. Yep. We're going to come up with podcasts about how rebuilding the Chiefs. We're going to be coming out with a podcast of think pieces. We're going to have think piece podcasts coming out. You just wait. That's why people got to like and subscribe. Jameis Winston incoming.
Maddie, final thoughts. Buddy, I've given all I think my thoughts that I possibly can on this one right now. This team top down failed this year. They failed pretty big. They didn't think they were going to, obviously, but they failed and they had no possible plan to like just reverse course, right? Like they was never even considered that they might not be Super Bowl bound or a playoff team this year by this team. It never crossed their mind that they might not be good. And so they had zero answers all year to fix what the issues were. They never showed a single ability to fix anything that was wrong with this team all year. And that's a problem. And now they get an off season where they can't complain about how going to the Super Bowl is tiring. They can't talk about how they're scared to call plays for Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl because they don't want to mess it up. And now they can just actually focus on making them a better team for next year and maybe having a plan if everything doesn't go well.
Tuck.
Remember when we used to do toast game?
No, I don't. Tell me, Grandpa.
Should we just do one?
No.
No, can't. You want to do toast game after they got eliminated from the playoffs?
After Patrick Mahomes might be out until halfway through next season, you want to do a toast game?
God.
Might.
I had a name for, because I told Patrick we need to come up with like a segment for if the Chiefs lose the game, we still do it. And I can't remember what it was. Roast game where we just dunk. Not wasn't it, but
I don't hate that. But.
Roast game where we just say something that makes us mad. Like Maddie's roast game was Jaden Hicks.
Yeah, Jaden Hicks. Mine could be the officiating because apparently you can wear a guy like a backpack and it can be legal now.
And then mine,
belly button and the grass.
Yeah, you can
get mine's the review. Mine's New York.
The whole.
Oh yeah,
state.
I needed a Tucker heater about Gene. He hates the other guy. But like Gene came on there and said we can't break plays down in slow mo.
Yeah,
to get
that
it
was
correct.
stupid. I was like, okay, Gene, you can't use slow mo. He's like,
I didn't know what
be
the
careful.
point was. What was the point of that?
I think he very clearly knew it was still going to be a catch. Like, I don't know if it's in conversation with somebody, if like, whether it was just a feeling, he very clearly thought it was going to be called a catch and he was trying to come up with anything to make it sense. So he settled on, you can't review everything in slow-mo. You got to watch it in real time.
Yeah. Yeah. He's like, well, I think it gets real close when you start breaking it down that everything looks like movement. And I was like, well, here's the thing, Gene. If it moves, it's going to look like movement. Gene has enough goodwill built up for me that I'm just like, okay, like fine.
Yeah, he's generally fine. Even when he's wrong, like he explains it relatively well. That was a wild segment that he did.
Yeah. Russell Dork, I can't stand that guy. Hopefully I never have to. Well, I guess I won't have to. The Chiefs won't be on Monday Night Football again. They won't be on ESPN, so that'll be good.
Season's over, boys.
That was good.
Now's the time to see what this team's made up. That's gonna do it for the KCSM post-game show.
We're this close.
Thank you all
Just
so
to
much
tick
for
off.
listening, watching, supporting. We love you. We appreciate you. We'll catch you later.
Just got to clean up a few things. We need Cena's face smiling